guys, this is your girl Natural. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. If you're new here, please go ahead, like and subscribe, hit the bell so you know whenever I post a video. So why is a random American chick who lives in Europe talking about a South Korean K-drama, as they call it? It's because, guys, I have recently become obsessed with K-dramas. Like, not even lying, legitimately obsessed. I'm kind of convinced that they are balling at it even better than like the Mexican telenovelas or the American soap operas. I mean, it is good. It is good. And also, you guys know that, like, I studied art history, so I studied a lot about monarchies, like European monarchies, but we forget that Eurasia is based off of a lot of monarchy stuff, as I would say it in a very American manner. And so, I just, you guys have heard my lament as I expressed, in other videos. When I studied art history in school, Eastern art was just kind of lumped all together in my art history courses, and Asia and, the Middle East and Africa was just like, oh yeah, just put that Eastern art together. But I'm watching these shows, most of them are based off of the joseon. I hope I'm saying that right. So any South Koreans or Koreans who land on my channel and you're like, girl, that's not how you say that, let me know. One of my greatest friends also is Chinese, and one of my greatest friends here in Paris, and I was telling him about how I had become recently so obsessed with these shows. And I was telling him about Empress Ki, which I'm going to review Empress Ki in another video. Empress Ki was so bad, man. That, and by bad I mean good. That was bad, boy. That was bad. Empress Ki was a bad mother. A mother, shut your mouth. But I was telling him about that, and I was like, I saw the Chinese traces within South Korea, because Empress Ki was like one of the many tribute women, as they called, who was offered to, I guess, the Chinese monarchy who was occupying South Korea at the time. And he was like, nope, honey, stop. So apparently it was actually Mongolian, it was like Mongolian occupation during Empress Ki's time. And Mongolian and Chinese history is a little bit different, but that's basically all to say Empress Ki opened up this box, this magical box into the world of K-dramas, and now my husband just watches me and he's just like, another one? And I'm like, yeah. And my husband and I have this running joke, whenever we're watching TV together, watching a movie or a show or something like that, and a hot man or a hot woman comes on the TV, we'll just like cover each other's eyes, and we'll be like, and he does that sometimes with the K-drama because it's so romantic. It's like romantic plus romantic on another level. It's like, but it's somehow, there's not the ick factor. It's very romantic and like a very authentic and, what's the way that I want to say, it's genuine. It's like, it's not trying too hard. And at the same time, it's innocent. That's the word that I want to say. It's like, we all know that part of Western culture, if you will, is the over-sexualization on TV and stuff. And, Asian culture, many Asian cultures, as someone who has a lot of Asian friends myself, which one of my best friends is Filipina, one of my best gays is Chinese, and I studied alongside many of my amazing Vietnamese friends, also Koreans as well, but I don't have as many Korean friends. And literally looking at the show, I just was like, holy crap, there's a whole world out there. And it's brutal, parts of the history of the Joseon dynasty and stuff is brutal. Well, I talk about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle a lot on this channel, but I think sometimes Americans, and even, I live in France, even other European people or people who live in the EU, which, there used to be a lot of monarchies in Europe, and slowly in the past century, those monarchies have pretty much disappeared. And so I think people kind of forget that, like, oh yeah, monarchies were done in Asia and it was in a different way. But at the same time, a lot of parallels, a lot of siblings, battling for rivalry, a lot of silencing of female voices, and rising up of the poor and of the people, of famine and drought and hunger. It's history is fascinating to me, and this just goes to show you that history really has no limits. So now that I've watched a whole bunch of K-drama, and I do have to caveat with saying I've watched a whole bunch of joseon drama, like joseon, and I know, hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that word. Joseon K-drama. I've watched a whole lot of it, but the other, like, more modern stuff, I feel like I'm gonna have to ease into that. But since I am kind of a nerd and I like art history and stuff, my next step would be reading a bunch of literature about this time. The only thing is I can't find a lot of literature written in English. Yeah, I feel like this is probably one of the first times in the world first times in history that we actually do have such accessibility between, Asian culture and the Western world, American and British, and I feel like this is the first time, and Netflix, as much as sometimes I'm like, Netflix is truly in this for the money. Still, I am super duper praising Netflix for the fact that I can actually look at this stuff. K-pop is amazing. I'm still learning, I'm still understanding it and everything, but after I started looking at Empress Ki, I just totally became, like, obsessed with it. Obsessed. I just was like, oh my god. My Chinese friend who was like, that Korean people. He was like, that Korean people get plastic surgery so young to be on those shows or whatever. I was like, don't throw the shade. Don't throw the shade. But anyway, it's so good. My next step is really to discover more literature and music from South Korea, because it's like there's just this whole wealth of culture there that is actually accessible to us now, and I'm just like, I'm so excited. I actually would really, really love to go on vacation with my husband to Seoul or other parts of South Korea. Like, I'm totally flabbergasted. I'm fascinated by it, and I even would like to learn a little bit of the language if I ever could. I mean, by the time that I reach my crickety old age, I would love to have like 7 languages. I would love to have, Korean, Chinese, Portuguese, Spanish, French, English. I mean, I already speak English, but and Arabic. I don't know. I'm a little nerd. I know I'm a little nerd, but it's so interesting. So, into the review. With all of that being said, I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction of kind of how I even landed on this. So, the show is about essentially this eunuch, but the eunuch isn't a man, it's a woman. And she falls in love with the crown prince, okay? And this is during Joseon dynasty. Okay, it was from 1392 to 1910. So this could have been anywhere in there, but if I would say it's probably from the earlier parts, if I could put my finger on it. Something that after having now watched at least like 5 of these Joseon type shows, I would say maybe it's a little bit later. Like, I saw Rookie Historian, I saw Empress Ki, I saw My Sassy Girl, I saw Queen for 7 Days, and I'll do reviews for all of those too. Just if they mention some stuff about the Western world, like I know there's some mention of Catholicism, for instance, and there's kind of this whole shame about the crown prince, his mother teaching him some things about Catholicism, but like not even in a way to convert him, but just to, educate him and tell him about the rest of the world. And of course those really divisive voices, which, if you look at what's going on in the US right now with the Republicans, read your history, guys, because this has been going on forever. You have leaders who are in it for the people, and you have leaders who are really just in it for maintaining the status quo, and so I love that. So the first episode, it says, to everyone else in town, Hung Sam Nom is known as a man who'll do anything for money, but to his adoptive father, he's known as a different name. So something that I see as the link with the K-dramas is this, it's this sort of ease into the situation at hand. And so this is where we get the background to know this eunuch who's walking around as a man, but it's actually a woman. And I've seen that a lot. For some reason, like, it seems like K-dramas often dress women up as men. I'm like, is there something with that? But no, I think it's more related to history and modesty, the certain, like, level of modesty that women are supposed to be chaste and stuff. And sometimes when they try to gain power and strategy, or in this case, Samnom is, like, trying to escape this espionage, violence, you know, that, you know, her parents were involved in, and so she has to dress up as a man, basically, to protect herself. So we see her joking around like a boy, and she's young. She's probably like 17 or 18 or something like that. So she's joking around with her friends, she's drinking, you know, having fun and stuff. I feel like we also get this idea that Koreans are really, really conservative, which they are. But seeing the shows, you know, how people drink, they have fun, they have friend circles, you know, just like any other person, any other place, any other visual, any other group. It really just, it brings it closer to home for us. The second episode, it says, as the other eunuch trainees try their best to pass 3 exams, Samnom tries her best to fail, but someone wants to make sure she stays. So at this point, this is where we're introduced to the crown prince, and of course, you know, per rom-com, you know, tradition, the female lead and the male lead don't like each other. So she's trying to do everything she can to fail this eunuch test, you know, and at this point he doesn't know that she's a girl, I don't think. And he is trying to do everything he can to push it through so that she can actually succeed in the test, actually pass the test, so that he can keep her around, because there's a connection between them. And of course he's hot. I mean, he's hot. There's no way around it. And he's very tall. He's got like perfect bone structure. I don't know if he's had plastic surgery, but he's got like perfect bone structure, and his character, I mean, it's like this character was written for him. He just is that perfect combination of a little bit cheeky, you know, a little bit of a know-it-all and sassy, you know, but also very chivalrous, kind of gallant, but at the same time, it's a coming-of-age story. So we see him grow and evolve. So he's a little bit of a brat, you know, he's a little bit of a runt. But his mother passed when he was young, and so did Samnom's. So did the eunuch the girl who's pretending to be a eunuch. Her mother also died when she was young. So they don't know that by episode 2, but eventually they connect over that. And so episode 3, Samnom is stunned when she sees her exam result for her blank answer sheet. The king's mental state is becoming increasingly unstable. So yes, we also see sort of, it seems like a lot of times in these K-dramas, there is the emphasis of the transition of power from the king to his son, you know? So the son is about to take over the crown, and, you know, the king's mental state is not great because his wife got executed. His wife was executed quite a long time ago, the crown prince's mother. The one who I explained was teaching a little bit about Catholicism. But we of course learned that there was corruption in the Senate, you know, within his senators and stuff. I don't know if you call them senators. If there's someone who can correct me on like the cultural terms and stuff, feel free to let me know, because I like learning. So, but the senators or the governors or politicians or whatever who appeal to the king, basically say that for the sake of the people, she has to go down, you know. And so the next episode, episode 4, at the king's upcoming birthday banquet, the crown prince plans to seek permission for regency for the king envoy, and king dynasty being Chinese. So during joseon, it seems like there often is this discussion about king or the Mongolian, you know, occupation. So I feel like that's definitely a historical touch point. And then it says, episode 5, no one can identify or locate the mysterious woman who performed the solo dance. It was the eunuch, it was Samnom. and request permission to attend the Lantern Festival. So of course during her dance, you know, which she's dancing, and I think it's called the kisang, which is like the Korean version of a geisha. Again, guys, let me know in the comments if I'm saying these things wrong. I'm just a stupid American, I'm sorry. But she basically learns from these dancers to dance for this show or whatever, and she dances in front of the Crown Prince. And the Crown Prince, see, she's got her like, it's covered. All you can see is her eyes. And the Crown Prince is like, you know how it is in romantic stuff. Guys, I mean women, because I know most of you guys watching here are women. If you are looking for something that is full with drama and comedy and cute and fun and cheeky, you know, you have to read subtitles. But at the same time, I find reading subtitles really relaxing. Like, my husband and I, we watch a lot of international shows, so it's not that big of a deal for me. But you guys, I really recommend this. Like, you will fall in love with it. It's the perfect combination of cute, drama, history, sexy, you know, like a little bit of rom-com, a little bit of history, a little bit of, you know, like it's innocent, it's fun, it's cheeky, and you might learn a few things. So I really recommend it. So by episode 6, it says the Crown Prince's attitude towards Samnom completely changes. Eunuch Ma tells the king envoy. Okay, I'm gonna stop there, and we'll just sum up. I can tell you basically what the rest happens. I mean, we go through this timeline of Samnom, the eunuch, who's actually a woman, being here with the Crown Prince. They grow closer, a friendship forms. They start to get to know each other more and understand that there's some parallels between their backgrounds. You know, they both lost their mother, and it really truly brought adversity into their life. Even though one is super duper rich, who is a prince, and he's about to take over a nation of people, and another one who basically grew up on the streets, really poor. The mom comes back into the picture, you know, for the eunuch. We thought she was dead, but she wasn't dead. And the dad does. It's like, how many more random family members are going to kind of traipse their way back into the picture? Not in the prince's sake, unfortunately. Oh, sorry if I'm spoiling anything. And by the end, they end up together, you know, and, you know, Samnom, the eunuch, or her actual name was, what was it? Raun. So Raun, she stops using the pseudonym and she takes on her own name, becomes a writer. And I think it's really funny because somewhere on, I also, once I get totally into something, I also go on the boards online and see what people are saying in forums. And on Reddit, apparently people are saying like, somebody was asking, this was for a whole nother Korean show, but they were asking if it was based on a real life story. And somebody Korean came in and said, basically, if there's a happy ending, it's made up. And if there's a sad ending, it's based on a real story. But of course, this is a happy ending. They end up together. She becomes a writer, and but I really loved it. Guys, if you have any insight on here on, you know, stuff, and you want to educate me, give me some tips, you know, please let me know in the comments. And if you're new here, hit like and subscribe, hit the bell so you know whenever I post a video, and I'll see you next time.